My name is Michelle Christensen. I teach second grade at Fruitland Primary School. I teach math, science, and social studies.
Hi, I am Patty Brown, and I teach music at wonderful Willards Elementary.
Hi, my name is Crystal Schisler. I teach first grade at West Salisbury Elementary.
Hi, my name is Kelly Clark, and I teach kindergarten at Chipman Elementary.
My name is Tim Peak. I teach second grade at Pinehurst Elementary School.
Hello, I'm Kelly Dorman, and I'm a 6th grade English Language Arts teacher at Mardella Middle and High School.
Hi, I'm Jamie Ennis, and I teach 3rd grade at East Salisbury Elementary School.
My name is Miranda Ebling, and I teach English at the English Language Support Center.
Hi, I'm Katrina Mercer. I am a special education teacher at Beaver Run Elementary School.
My name is Kim Fitzgerald. I teach Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 at James M. Bennett High School.
I'm Martha Schworn. I am a reading intervention teacher, 6th grade at Salisbury Middle School.
I'm Jamie Miller. I teach 2nd grade at Westside Intermediate.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Matthews. I teach biology and AP biology at Wicomico High School.
Hi, my name is Carrie Lewis. I teach at Delmar Elementary. I am a reading specialist, so I teach reading intervention to students in kindergarten through 4th grade.
Hi, I'm Debbie Wessels, and I teach 1st grade at Westside Primary.
Hi, I'm Julie Owens, and I teach 6th grade math at Bennett Middle School.
Hi, my name is Donna Melson. I teach math, and I am at Pittsville Elementary and Middle School.
My name is Sophia Vitilio. I teach 3rd grade math and science at Pemberton Elementary School.
Hi, my name is Paige Baker. I teach ELA 3rd grade at Prince Street Elementary School.
Hi, my name is Allison Harrington. I'm a 4th grade teacher at Fruitland Intermediate, and I teach science and math.
Hi, my name is Pamela Slade. I teach computer at Wicomico Middle School.
Hi, I'm Gwen Kidd, and I teach 3rd grade math and science at North Salisbury School.
My name is Lucinda Shue, and I teach 3rd grade math and science at Glen Avenue Elementary.
My name is Andy Hall. I teach physical education at Parkside High School, and I'm the athletic director, and I also volunteer for soccer and basketball.
Hi, I'm Nadia Peterson, and I teach 1st grade at Northwestern Elementary.
And I'm Dr. Rick Briggs, Chief Academic Officer. I'm so happy that you're getting to meet all of our outstanding semi-finalists for Teacher of the Year. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all of our wonderful teachers for their time, effort, and dedication that they've put in to supporting our students over the past year. Now, let's get to know our semi-finalists a little bit better.
My favorite part of teaching is when I teach a student something and they have that aha moment when they just learn it and it clicks. And to see that growth and the connections that they start to make to other subject areas, the confidence they begin to show, and it's just the most rewarding feeling ever to see those students succeed.
Learning about children, learning from them. They teach me new things every year that I never would have thought of. Their imagination, creativity is outstanding. I also love seeing when they learn a new topic and a light bulb goes off in their head and you can see their eyes get big and wide and they glow. Meeting the parents that care so much about the same kids that I care so much about, and becoming part of the family and learning all about them.
My favorite part of teaching is creating those personal relationships with each one of my students. I love being able to witness my 1st grade students come in not knowing how to read, but leaving my classroom at the end of the year seeing themselves as a reader. I love being able to not only teach my students academic skills, but also teaching them the social and emotional skills that they need in life to succeed. I love being able to witness those light bulb moments my students have where they're struggling with a skill but able to accomplish it all on themselves.
My favorite part of teaching, if I go back in all the years in the last 52 years, is number one, the first thing I was told to always make sure I know who all the custodians were, make sure I know all the people that work in the in the cafeteria so that I would at least make sure I get my room clean and get something to eat every day. This is something my uncles who were in education told me to always check with. The idea is taking a group of kids, of course some of our classes were 59 people in a class, taking a group of kids and try to keep them on the same tangent and hopefully at the end show some improvement. This is what I always did. We always gave some type of pre-test or something, and we always tried to show some type of improvement at the end. If there wasn't any improvement, then we would try to find out those individuals that were having problems, and we tried to see what we could do to help them. I went right to Parkside. Parkside opened, and I've been there ever since. It's one of the greatest moves I ever made because I always wanted to be in the high school situation because of coaching. And I know coaching and teaching go along together, I believe. A lot of things that we do in coaching helps in the classroom, teaching them how to make decisions, quick decisions, and make the right decisions. Because nowadays there's so many things for them to get into besides just one thing. We're hoping that we can make the right decisions all the time, but it doesn't happen that way. We have, in my class, which I've started, which is a BFS weight training class, always try to start with some kind of max out, and then at the end we max out again and try to improve. If they improve by 1 pound, that's improvement. That's very rewarding to me to see that happen. How they go and do the best they can. That's all we ask in the class, is to do the best they can.
My favorite part of teaching is the scholars. I love building that relationship with them, and I love when I can see them learning and when they make that connection between their learning and the world around them. And I also love that they just teach me new things every day. Third grade scholars are just coming into their own personalities. They usually have a lot to share with you. They're learning so much about their world around them, and they're so excited to share it with those that'll listen around them.
As a student, I was a struggling learner, and when I was a senior in high school, I really had a teacher that really took me under their wing and showed me that college could be a possibility. And at that point, I hadn't really considered it. And so knowing what it's like to be a struggling learner, that really motivates me, because I truly understand when a student doesn't get a concept or is really struggling with something. I can empathize with that, and I can understand that because I had the similar situation all throughout school myself. And so that really motivates me, knowing that I can help change their attitude towards learning or give them that spark of interest.
I became a teacher because when I was 17, I was involved in a car accident and I broke both my legs. And so I was unable to walk for a year actually. And during that process, it's really lonely when you're 17. You're thinking, oh my goodness, I broke my legs. I can't go out with my friends. I couldn't really do much. And before that, I had always wanted to go into the military. I thought that was like the life path for me. But when I broke my legs, I was in the hospital. I was at shock trauma. I was at the time it was Health South Rehab. And I remember my teachers would come to visit me and kind of just sit with me for a few hours in the evening. Or I know the principal came up one day and sat with me as I was doing therapy. And at that point, I thought to myself, wow, these people really care about me. Like, they don't have to care about me. They're not being paid to care about me. They have families to go home to after school. And I thought, wow, they really, really care. Like, what type of person cares that much to come see me? Because, some of them, I wasn't even in their classes at the time. They were teachers I had in prior years. And I think at that point I said, if they can make this big of an impact on me and how I'm feeling in such a vulnerable time, what could I do if I became a teacher? Could I have that same impact on a student? Could I impact, the positivity that they have in a difficult situation? And so I think that really helped me explore being, okay, is that a lifestyle that I want to live, impacting other people that are younger and that really, need someone positive in their life. When I was doing my internships, it just solidified that, yes, I can be that person. I can help students who are struggling turn their negative experiences into a positive experience. And so that really helped, I think shape me, because I think if I would have never been in that car accident, I would have just gone into the military and said, this is my way of life, and been very accepting of it. But I think that those teachers that poured into me and helped me change my outlook in such a difficult situation really encouraged me that, yeah, that's something that I want to do.
I think I have a moment every day, or almost every day, that reminds me why I'm a teacher. It's the little things like, how many sides does a stop sign have? And a student is adamant that it has 6. We will always laugh about that. Or when a student really understands an incredibly hard process in biology, and they look at you and say, I'm doing science. I never could do science before. I've been a teacher for 22 years, and there are endless moments that take my breath away and continue to take my breath away. Today, I had 3. I tell my students, if you're in a job where you don't have moments that take your breath away, find a new job.
A few years ago, I had a phenomenal crew, and it was really a year of growth for all of us in so many factors. We had a lot of struggling learners, a lot of upsetting homes, and it was the year that Westside really incorporated community circles. And so I always call my students the minions, Miller's Minions. And once a cycle, we would have a meeting of the minions, and we would discuss worries and things that are on our mind, or things we just wanted, extra good luck from our classmates with. And in the beginning, they were very superficial, or I have a soccer game, and or I had a upset stomach, and they didn't want to talk, they just pass. And over time, the trust throughout the year was built, and the things that these students were dealing with and bringing to the meeting of the minions were incredible. And I felt honored that they wanted to share with the class these things that were on their minds, and just how all these 7, 8-year-olds were so accepting of their answers and their worries, and they weren't even looking for advice, but just the understanding. It was right during the holidays with Thanksgiving, and a student worried about, spending time with dad instead of mom, and it was a first. And so just something small, in retrospect, meeting the minions turned into this huge other kids were like, I've got this, like I know what to do. And so the unity of the classroom was huge. Over winter break, I thought, what can I do, to spruce up the second half of the year, and came up with this schedule. And every single day, we did something in the classroom to make us want to be a better person. We started off Mondays with a laugh, meme Mondays, and we would make jokes about whatever and kind of come up with a sense of humor, aspect to start our week off right. And then it was Transformation Tuesday, a quote that made us, look at things differently and how we can see ourselves as leaders, as someone important. And then it was on Wednesday, Friends Day, where they got to write a compliment about someone on a Post-it note and put it on their desk, and they could write their name or they could be anonymous. And watching the students come in and see these notes left behind and just starting your day off with a smile is really incredible. And then Thoughtful Thursday, again, like we would read how we could be better in the community. What little things could we do? Leave, little messages for our postman, or leave a smiley or a Post-it note like on a mirror somewhere, just spreading positivity. And then Fancy Friday, dress for the success. And so it was just little things that were building character. And I think in second grade, you really see these children come from these dependent, I need help, little individuals to these incredible human beings that they blossom in their academics, they blossom in their independence, they blossom in their sense of humor, and you can see little hints of who they're going to be for the rest of their lives. And so when it all comes together, they were just taking off, and it was so incredible to see. And it was the class, the students, the teaching experience that I had been, longing to have since I knew I wanted to be a teacher in second grade. And so then come the end of the year, we're writing in yearbooks and we're sending off messages, and I overheard one little girl say, well, it was my first grade teacher who taught me how to read. And I said, if you could name one thing that you learned in second grade, what did I teach you? And she thought for just like a couple of seconds, and she just kept writing real, mindlessly, and she was just like, you taught me how to be a better person. And I just smiled and I said, that is the best answer. I will take it. And so with that, there's so many incredible moments teaching. And we want the academics, we want the, success of our students, but just at the end of the day, we are helping shape these children into being lifelong learners, into being incredible humans and being kind in the world. And with that will just be a moment that will stick with me throughout my entire life.
I know most teachers have those experiences with a teacher or a professor that inspired them to teach, and I don't really feel I had that. So my inspiration came from wanting to be somebody that I didn't have, and being a model to be able to change lives and impact the youth in our community. Growing up, and especially in college, I think there was a lot of moments where I questioned being a teacher or continuing on that journey, and there was always something to remind me and to tell me, hey, you're on the right path, this is what you were meant to do. I feel like I wanted to invent kind of my own brand of what I wanted as a teacher growing up, and to be flexible and adaptable enough to kind of meet all the needs with kids. And once I saw I could do that, that really inspired me to stick with this and to remind myself, hey, this is why you do it, and to keep on.
A memory that defines why I teach, why I love it, is I ran an after-school arts program in the Project Move group, and I had groups of students that would come to me for about an hour, and we created, for this particular memory that I'm thinking of, we were creating cycling clothes that teachers and friends, family members would bring us, gently worn clothes or clothes that they don't want anymore. And we had them in my room, and we would spread them out, and the kids had the opportunity to take them, cut them up. We were doing some no-sew projects together, and they were making new clothes, and making their own fashion, if you will. So I had a girl in there who really, she took through this. She just wanted to stay. After my little hour, they would go off to the gym, and they would do some, activities to get them all tired out before the end of the day. And she always wanted to stay. And she said, I really want to make my own things. So I just let her go. I would stay in there with her, and we would spread them all out, and she'd get online, and she'd get a little iPad, and we'd go through some different designs. And she came up with this one day. It was a man's shirt. It was like checkered. It was a long, button-down shirt, and she'd cut off the sleeves, and she did something with the top, and she found another article of clothing and made this awesome belt. And she put it on, and it was down to her knees, and she said, I'm gonna wear this to the dance this Friday. And I was like, okay. It was the perfect thing. I didn't know if I wanted to cry or hug her, or she didn't come from much from home. So this to her was like her defining moment of what she thought was just her own like independence. It was her own thing that she did all by herself, and she could take them all home and she could show whoever was there. And I said, and she wore it. Another friend of mine that I worked with in Project Move came to me that Monday morning and said, sure enough, she wore it, and she was happy as could be walking around with this. I didn't know what the reactions were from any of the students. It was probably not anything else anyone wore, but she was prouder than she could be knowing that she made this and she was wearing it. So that was, to me, I don't know if it was just the moment that she just did anything that she wanted to, and she was going to go out. And she's in high school now, maybe a sophomore in high school. I hope that she's doing something that's making her as happy as she was that day, because it was great. So that's a memory that I'll never forget, and it taught me that, you know what, I guess we just let them go and do how they feel independent enough and strong enough and secure enough to do what they love.
I would say that I've had many best days as a teacher, but many of them have something in common. And they actually happen long after I've taught my students, in the years when I see them again, or when I get a special note in my mailbox. So when a student says, Miss Ebling, thank you so much, you prepared me for 8th grade English, that just feels awesome. Or when the student says, I missed your class. I missed your class so much, and when they come back to see me. Or when a student pops by and, you know, I used to teach them when they were this big, and now they're this big, and they're an adult, and they're telling me what they're doing in their life. Maybe they're becoming a teacher, or they pursued their passion of art, which they used to do in your class, or they are coming back just to borrow a book from you because they remember that you were the one who could recommend a good book. Those are my best days as a teacher.
Wow, it has taught me so much. I learned that I could do so much more than I thought I could do, especially with technology. Wow. So as a 53-year-old veteran, I learned that I can keep moving forward and learning new things and challenge myself more and more every year. I am nowhere near retirement. I'm ready to keep plugging away. I love my job, so going to keep doing that. And I also learned to give myself grace as a teacher. Wow, what a breath of fresh air to hear that. I felt the weight just lift from my shoulders when we were given the opportunity to give ourselves grace. Wow, and I can give everyone else grace. So in the future, I will remember to do that. And also, I have used this analogy today. I want to make some lemonade or lemon jelly out of my lemons. So if I find things that are difficult as a teacher, I'm going to find a way to make it a positive experience. Like we were thrown into the virtual world. I knew nothing about the computer, so I learned a way to love it. I made a great Bitmoji classroom and learned how to embed links, and never thought that I would be doing that coming from the pencil paper community. I really learned that I could do more than I thought I could do, and now I need to flip that to the students. I know they can do more than they think they can do.
Resiliency and patience and grace need to be applied to myself as much as it needs to be given to students. I think that over the years, we're in such uncharted territory that we, kind of, as teachers, sometimes we get in our comfort zones and we sort of have a routine of how we do things, how we teach. And so, if anyone knows me, sometimes I am not necessarily always the most flexible because I like my comfort zone. And so when I was kind of forced out of my comfort zone, it came at a time when I was really not sure if I wanted to continue teaching. I mean, I had sent an email and I was just like, I don't know. And so because of my faith, I just kind of like hunkered down and I was like, okay, this is not going to take it out of me. I got to figure out a way. And in that, I just I just feel like I created some of the best teaching moments and the best relationships that I have in the 24 years I've been teaching. And I know it sounds strange because so many of my colleagues are definitely not in the same place or haven't experienced the same things. And so I know that it's almost abnormal to even feel that way, that I actually gained more than I lost during that time. And I just think back to one of the things that I found that was important was I didn't focus, when we were virtual, I didn't focus on the fact that I couldn't see their faces. I focused on getting to know who they were, even if it was through conversation, through our class chat or whatever it was. And I can remember doing an evaluation at the end of I don't know if it was the semester, if it was the year, I can't remember, but one of the comments from a few students was, I really appreciated that you didn't let the fact that I didn't show my face be a deterrent from getting to know who I was. And, you know, because everyone was experiencing so much. I had, you know, students during that time who'd lost family members to COVID, who were experiencing financial stress in their homes, and I didn't find that my content superseded the need for them to turn in work or to get an A in my class or anything that didn't define them as the person that was in my room. And so I think my ability to see that in myself kind of helped transform the way that my class was designed and is still to this day. I mean, I feel like I get more out of my students on a daily basis because I focus on not so much the lesson that I've planned, but who comes into my room every single day. Like, I can meet the students at the beginning of the year, and they may have, I teach teenagers, so they may have a fight with their parent on the way to school, or they might have, you know, a breakup or whatever, and I don't focus on that, and I allow them to be in whatever space they're in, but it may change the dynamics of the lesson that I have planned, and I'm willing to adapt to that. So that was the second thing, was adapting, you know, language. Foreign language in a virtual setting was really hard. And I think that it taught me how to find resources that benefited my students and resources that I could implement, and that they were able to still learn the language. Maybe not to perfection, but there is no such thing as perfection anywhere, really. And so I think that for me, that's one of the second things that it did, was it taught me to adapt to the environment, the students, and just bring in things that I wouldn't necessarily have. And so if I'm an uncomfortable person, I know that, okay, I'm going to seek out, whether it's technology or whether it is colleagues, you know, we collaborated. You know, I'm an incredibly independent person in a lot of ways in my life, for 18 years, I was the only teacher that taught my content in Bennett Middle. And so I just did a lot on my own. And so for the last 6 years, you know, we collaborated, but it really forced us to do that when we were in virtual, because we had to figure out ways to support one another within our teaching community.
It has taught me how the true meaning of being flexible and adaptable. I have found in myself how I had those before COVID, but this is a whole new meaning. You know, you had to, prior to COVID, be flexible with behaviors that arise in the classroom, or, you know, a student coming in upset or curriculum changing. But with COVID, you know, I had students who I taught virtual through the computer, but I also had students in the classroom at the same time. So that was a whole new meaning of the word being adaptable, of me changing my teaching to make sure that I not only meet the needs of my students right there in the classroom with me, but also my students who I was teaching virtually through the computer.
So the biggest thing that it's taught me is that it is okay to make mistakes. I made lots of them leading up to trying to get virtual teaching right. And I think also that it's taught me to give a lot of grace. This was hard on the students, going through virtual learning as hard as it was on the teachers, but it also taught me to give myself grace as well, so that, you know, I could make those mistakes and trial and error. And probably the last thing it really taught me was that content is definitely important, and I feel like I've always been pretty good at teaching my content. I think that going virtual really pushed and forced me to build the kind of relationships with my students that I needed to. And you would think that it would be hard doing that virtual, but we had check-in slides each day, and students were able to take like a slider and just kind of gauge where their day was. But then they also had the option, if they wanted to, that they could write about how they were feeling. And I think because it was a safe environment, that students actually opened up a lot more and wrote a lot more. So, and I've kind of carried that over now. And yes, I still think the content, my content, math, is definitely important, but getting to know the students and really understanding their needs is just as important.
I still got it. It's pretty exciting because as an older teacher, I would guess that some people would think I had a lot of challenges, but in all honesty, it was the challenge that was really fun this past 2 years. I had the opportunity to learn how to make all these slides. I videotaped, I used audio, I've Zoomed, I've done it all. And it's awesome because that's what I'm using today. Now I teach completely with Google Slides. It's great. So I've grown, I've learned, and I'm excited about using everything that I learned during COVID.
A moment I will carry with me into future years would have to be when I saw the class of 2021 graduate. I remember being in the Shorebird Stadium and seeing the students walk out in their cap and gowns, and I had a flashback and I was transported back to when they were little 6th graders, and that was the year the Taylor Swift album came out, and we would sing it in class, and we went to the book fair and a fight broke out, not a real fight, but a little tiff broke out between another student because they wanted a nail polish eraser. And I just remember those little moments, and then seeing them turn into these adults right before my eyes was really amazing and something that I'll carry with me. I think sometimes we forget in the moment when you're teaching that these little minds that you're molding will someday go out into the world and become adults. And so for me, I had that experience when I got to see them transform. And it was just really unique to get to have a hand in that, because the purpose we work towards is getting these kids to graduation and ready to go out and get their diploma and go out into the world. And to see them and the progress they made, and to get to watch them grow, because at Mardella we're really blessed to get 6th through 12th grade. So I got to have them as students, I got to work with them in book club, I got to see them as high schoolers in honor society. And so to get to see them go out into the world and make that difference was just something really unique that I'll carry with me and remember it when I'm trying to come back to my purpose for teaching. I will remember that moment and the look of pride on their faces as they receive that diploma.
Again, looking at some of the home as we were doing the virtual online, just again knowing in my mind that I think I know what their home environment is, but then actually seeing their home environment and realizing I don't know what goes on at home every night. I don't know. Here I am fussing. You don't have your homework. You didn't do this. You don't have this. And then going, but did you get dinner last night? Or do you have somebody to tuck you in at night? Or is there someone to wake you up in the morning? One little boy said to us, I need to wear, his clothes were always, kind of wrinkled. And we're like, oh, what, he's like, yeah, well, I have to wear my clothes to bed because I don't have time in the morning to get dressed because I can't make the bus if I have to get up and get dressed. So there wasn't someone there to wake him in the morning. So just to think about, and try to help if I've got something that I can help with them or something, not to, call them out, but just to be that extra little, here, let me help you out with this. Let me give you a little bit of kindness or patience or, extra time to do something because I know you have a situation that warrants you needing something special.
Feel empowered to change the world when they walk out of my classroom, because the world needs changing and the only crew that's going to do it is you guys.
So I work with students who are in pre-K 3 and pre-K 4, the special education students in there. So These students are usually coming to us not being away from their families. This is their first school experience, so we are teaching them not only the academics and the content, but how to follow the school routines, how to follow the school rules, how to sit in a chair, how to play with friends, how to collaborate with their peers when they're trying to learn. So just all the basic skills that you need to be in schools. I hope that my students leave me knowing that they were loved and have learned everything that I have presented to them. I hope that my students know that not only did I care about them, but I've cared about their families as well, and just want them to be as successful as they possibly could be while they were with me.
I hope that my students realize that I am passionate about teaching math, that I really care about them, that I want them to be successful. And I've taught 32 years, and I really have embraced No Child Left Behind. I want every one of them to learn. I know that they can. I want to give them that confidence. I want to give them the scaffolding. I want to help them with the lesson. If they can't get it during the classroom, then I'm willing to give my afternoons up, which I do, and I tutor them in the afternoon. And I realize that I don't teach every child, but I do hope that the ones that I do teach, that I really do reach them.
I hope that my students establish a love for learning and know that they can be anything they want. They can go to college and do a career that's you need to be college educated for. They can go to a trade school. They can learn from a tradesman and do a trade and be successful, or be an entrepreneur.
I hope that my students instill the mindset that they can be the best person they can be, that despite their backgrounds and whatever they've gone through in the past, that they can do better tomorrow or any day, that success is such a long journey, and that we just got to get up, give ourselves a high five, and tell our mind we got it. To never give up, because every day you have a new day to be the best version of yourself.
Well, I hope my students develop the passion and desire to change the world. I hope that they are a willing servant in doing what they need to do in order to be the best that they can be. And then I hope that they reach back and take others with them. And not just take others in a sense of just saying, hey, you can change the world too, but actually pouring into others, being a mentor, being someone who is sharing their resources, being a willing helper, an accountability partner, a coach, whatever they need to be in order for them to help others develop their passion and to pursue whatever they want to pursue.